So guys, Coach Prime wants to win right now, and he's definitely doing everything it takes to make sure that he gets in the players to win right now. But guess what? There's only one problem. Every other team is getting better just the same. So how is he going to do it? Well, you know me, Harry B and TLP Sports Club. I'm going to keep spying on these teams. I'm going to keep looking for information on these teams in order to find out little nuances on how we can win in the Big 12. We can actually control our own destiny. If we win the Big 12, we get an automatic bid into the playoffs. It's going to be tough, but in this video, the Buffalo's Wired, that USAtoday.com, put out some information about the predictions, the early Big 12 record predictions that can give us a little bit more insight into the Big 12 teams. I'm going to give you all of that right after my intro. Hey, Shador, tell them who we all around here.
BWB. Bandwagon Buffs.
That's right. It's your man's Harry Billion. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as it uploads to YouTube. All right, family, so I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. Welcome back. In order for us to win in the Big 12, I've said it in other videos, but just in case this is your first video, guys, we need to make sure that our defensive line, especially our linebackers, they need to show up. They need to have a breakout season in order for us to be able to stop the heavy running in that Big 12. So today, Coach Prime added BJ Green. Here's what we're getting in BJ Green, according to writer from the Coloradoan, Scott Proctor. A difference maker off the edge and an excellent complement to Samuel Okanola and or Keaton Wade. According to PFF College, he had 8 sacks, 57 QB pressures, 83.4 pass rush grade, 14% pass rush win rate. Scott Proctor also writes, BJ Green hasn't missed a game in his college career, 36 games played. That's an impressive durability. That's the type of guy that we're getting. If you think about it, how he takes care of his body, how he takes care of his mind, how he treats himself. That's impressive because you're no good to us if you're not on the field. You understand what I'm saying? That makes our chances a little bit better to stop the heavy run in the Big 12. Now, this is BJ Green. We had DJ Lundy, who went back to Florida State, but this is a pretty good replacement. DJ Lundy's score was a 93. BJ Green's score is an 83. That's really good because a lot of people are bullish on this kid and they know that he can play. We're feeling very confident that now we can stop the run. Now, with that being said, with this addition, let me take y'all over to the Colorado Buffalo's Wired at USAtoday.com so I can show y'all the different records. And what I want you to do is read between the lines, guys. This is not just a records prediction video. I want you to read between the lines. Who are the contenders and who are the pretenders in the Big 12? Let's find out. Way too early record predictions for every Big 12 football team in 2024. These are just predictions. I'm not saying these are going to be the actual records. This article is by Jack Carlo. A new era of college football will begin this fall with several powerhouse programs entering new conferences. In addition to Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC, 10 different Pac-12 programs are joining either the Big 10, Big 12, or ACC. Colorado, along with Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah, landed in the Big 12, creating a 16-team conference that stretches across nearly the entire country. While rosters are still expected to change considerably over the next few months, with another transfer portal window opening in April, it's time to begin looking ahead to the 2024 season. Below are my way too early record predictions for every Big 12 football team in 2024. The plane is about to take off. Remember to read between the lines. Don't just think about the records. These are just predictions, but that's not why I'm doing this, okay? We're playing Spygate. This is Spygate over here. Let's spy on these teams. The Baylor Bears. Projected record 2-10, 1-8 Big 12. Record in 2023 was 3-9. In the Big 12, they were 2-7. Most notable games at Utah versus Air Force versus TCU. Projected wins, Tarleton State and BYU. For those of you who were wondering where in the world is Tarleton State, like I was, member of the Texas A&M University system. So Tarleton State is in Texas. Here are their projected losses. Utah, Air Force, TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Colorado. We are projected to beat them. Houston, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and West Virginia. In order for us to win that Big 12, we got to contend with all of these Big 12 teams in order for us to go to the Big 12 championship to win the Big 12 and get an automatic bid into the 12-team playoffs. If we don't want to deal with the messy stuff, we got to win that Big 12 championship. Let's move on to our next team. The next in the Big 12 is going to be the Houston Cougars. Alton McCaskill is from. Projected regular season record, 3-9, 1-8 in the Big 12. Record in 2023 was 4-8, just like us, 2-7 in the Big 12. Most notable games are going to be at Oklahoma, Arizona, and Utah. Projected wins, UNLV, Rice, Baylor. Wow, Houston's going to take a step back in 2024, they're thinking. Projected losses, Oklahoma, Arizona, BYU, Cincinnati, Utah, Kansas State, Iowa State, Kansas, and TCU. These projections are taking into account who they have on their team, their O-line, their D-line, their quarterbacks, how much depth they have at each position room. Everything is being taken into consideration. That's why these predictions make a lot of sense for me to spy into these teams to understand, do they really have that firepower that may stop us from our journey to getting to that Big 12 championship. Next team that we're looking at, guys, is going to be Arizona State Sun Devils. Their projected record is going to be 4-8, 1-8 in the Big 12. They're projected to only win one game in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 3-9. They were 2-7 in the Pac-12. Most notable games versus Mississippi State at Arizona versus Utah. Projected wins, Wyoming, Mississippi State, Texas State, and UCF. All right, projected losses are going to be at Arizona, BYU, Utah, Kansas, Cincinnati, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. So moving on to our next team, BYU Cougars. Got a couple of Cougars in the conference. We got the BYU Cougars and we got the Houston Cougars. According to Jack Carlo, their record is going to be 4-8, 2-7 Big 12. They're going to win only 2 games in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 5-7. They were 2-7 in the Big 12 in 2023. Most notable games are going to be at SMU versus Arizona versus Oklahoma State. Projected wins are going to be against Southern Illinois, Wyoming, Arizona State, and Houston. Projected losses, SMU, Baylor, Arizona, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Kansas State, Utah, and UCF. What narratives are you guys drawing about the BYU Cougars? Go ahead, put that in the comments. UCF Knights, their projected record, according to Jack Carlo, 4-8. They're going to be 2-7 in the Big 12. Record in 2023, 6-7. They won 6 games last year, lost 7. They were 3-6 in the Big 12. So what exactly is Jack Carlo thinking that's going to cause them to take a step backwards in 2024? Because they were 6-7. They made the bowl last year. Jack Carlo is thinking that they're going to be 4-8. Did they lose any key players? Anybody that knows the UCF Knights, let me know if they lost any key players. Because obviously, if they get better, I can only assume that they're going to put up the same record or they're going to do better. But what is going to cause them to lose or to regress in 2024? Most notable games are going to be at Florida versus Colorado versus Utah. Projected wins are going to be New Hampshire, Sam Houston, BYU, Cincinnati. You see, we're now on that list as projected wins, thank God. Projected losses are going to be Florida, Arizona State, Iowa State, TCU, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, thank God, West Virginia. Our defensive line is getting better. Our offensive line is getting better. Now let's take a look at the Cincinnati Bearcats. Their projected record, according to Jack Carlo, that's going to be 5-7, 2-7 in the Big 12. In 2023, they went 3-9. They were 1-8 in the Big 12. Most notable games are going to be at Colorado versus TCU, at Kansas State. Their projected win column is going to be Townsend, Pitt, Miami of Ohio, Arizona State, and Houston. Projected losses are going to be TCU, West Virginia, Colorado, thank God, Iowa State, Kansas State, Texas Tech, and UCF. What narratives are you guys drawing based upon these wins, losses, and their record? Our next team is going to be TCU Horned Frogs. Remember, they're not actually a frog, it's a lizard that pumps up his back to look like a frog, okay? What is their projected record? It's going to be 6-6. They're going to go 4-5 in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 5-7. They were 3-6 in the Big 12. Most notable games at SMU, at Kansas versus Texas Tech. Projected wins are going to be Stanford, Long Island, Baylor, Cincinnati, Houston, UCF. Projected losses, SMU, Kansas, Arizona, Oklahoma State, Utah, and Texas Tech. I'm sure that if they can figure out their quarterback situation, they might become dangerous again. So we got to be very careful. They no longer have Max Duggan, who was their unicorn. Chandler Morris is obviously not that guy, but their coach, Sonny Dykes, knows how to win, and he might find his way back. I don't know how that's going to stand up, but we'll see. The Iowa State Cyclones is our next team. According to Jack Carlo, they're going to be 7-5. They're going to be 5-4 in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 7-6. They were 6-3 in the Big 12. Most notable games are going to be at Iowa versus Kansas State, at Kansas. Projected wins, North Dakota, Arkansas State, Houston, Baylor, Kansas, Kansas State, Cincinnati, and UCF. Projected losses are going to be Iowa, Kansas, Utah, West Virginia, and Texas Tech. Got some strong teams over there. Just moving right along to West Virginia Mountaineers. We don't play them, so I know we ain't got to worry about them, but their projected record is going to be 8-4. They were 6-3 in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 9-4. 4, and also in 2023 they were 6-3. That's not bad. Looks like a Big 12 contender there. Most notable games is going to be versus Penn State, at Pitt versus Kansas. Projected wins are going to be University at Albany, Pitt, Cincinnati, Baylor, Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa State, and UCF. Projected losses are going to be Penn State, Arizona, Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech. We're going to meet one of these teams in the championship in that Big 12, and I wonder who is going to be. So y'all keep drawing your narratives, guys. Our next team is going to be the Texas Tech Red Raiders. According to Jack Carlo, their record or their projected record for 2024 is going to be 9-3. They're going to be 6-3 in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 7-6. They were 5-4 in the Big 12 in 2023. Most notable games are going to be at Washington State, at Arizona versus Colorado. Their projected wins is going to be another Christian university in Texas, Abilene Christian University in Texas. That's ACU. And then they also got TCU in Texas as well. Oh man, Texas got some Christian universities over there. Washington State, North Texas, Arizona State, Baylor, Cincinnati, West Virginia, Iowa State, and TCU. The two Christian universities are going to see each other. This one comes by prayer and fast. You know what I'm saying? ACU is praying a little harder than TCU. Projected losses are going to be Arizona, Oklahoma State, and Colorado. Thank God. What narrative are y'all drawing that a team that was 5-4 in the Big 12 last year, what narrative are you guys drawing that we're going to beat Texas Tech? Obviously, these teams are not no walkover teams, but we were 4-8. Even though we're getting better on our O-line and our D-line, it looks like they had a pretty solid team last year. I have no idea what exactly that Jack Carlo is seeing that he thinks that we're going to beat them. It could be that we just got BJ Green. Anybody that knows Texas Tech and think that we're going to win, let me know what are the elements. All right, so let's move on to Kansas State Wildcats. You see that trophy right there? Kansas State won that Pop-Tart Bowl in 2023. Look at it right there, guys. Projected record, 9-3, 6-3 in the Big 12. In 2023, they were 9-4, 6-3 also in the Big 12. They were 8-4. They went to the bowl game and won. That made them 9-4. That's why their record is looking like that. All right. Most notable games versus Arizona, versus Kansas, at Colorado. Projected wins: UT Martin, Tulane, Arizona, BYU, Houston, Arizona State, Kansas, Cincinnati, and West Virginia. The projected losses: Colorado. Thank God. Whew, I really hope that is true. Iowa State, Oklahoma State. Jack Carlo is really bullish on Colorado in 2024. He knows something we don't know, and I surely hope he's right. Moving on to the Kansas Jayhawks. They are also holding up a trophy. Kansas Jayhawk projected record is going to be 9-3, 6-3 in the Big 12. Their record in 2024 was 8-4. They won the bowl game. That made them 9-4. They were 5-4 in the Big 12 in 2023. Their most notable games are going to be versus Colorado, at Kansas State, versus Iowa State. Projected wins are going to be Lindenwood, Illinois. And if you're wondering where Lindenwood is, Lindenwood University is in St. Charles, Missouri. You're welcome if you were wondering. A lot of these teams and a lot of these places, I have no idea where they are located. So I got to do that just in case you didn't know. I didn't know either. So there you go. American geography. What grade did you get? Projected wins are going to be Illinois, UNLV, Arizona State, Baylor, BYU, TCU, Houston, Iowa State. Projected losses: Kansas State, West Virginia, Colorado. Okay, Jack Carlo, I see you. He got Colorado beating all of these teams that are doing pretty well in the Big 12 before we got there. I see you, son. All right, guys, we're moving right along to our next team. That's going to be Arizona Wildcats. You got Kwamani McLean right there, and these boys was running the ball like crazy. Arizona ran the ball on us, so we better be ready. Kwamani McLean better be ready to make that tackle next time. You can't be missing them. Cannot be missing them. Anyways, projected record 10-2, 8-1 in the Big 12. Record in 2023, they were 10-3. In the Pac-12, they were 7-2 last year. Now they're new like us in the Big 12. Most notable games are going to be at Kansas State, at Arizona State versus Colorado. Projected wins are going to be New Mexico, Northern Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Texas Tech, Houston, West Virginia, BYU, TCU, and UCF. I don't know, man. I'm thinking Colorado might take it this time. I'm telling you, that will be one game that I may disagree with Jack Carlo, that we're going to beat Arizona. Now, some of the other teams that he said we're going to beat, like Kansas and the Texas Tech, I don't know. Those are kind of iffy, but I think we might beat Arizona this year. You guys bookmark this video and come back and see. Let me know when we beat Arizona, because I think we're going to beat Arizona this year. Their projected losses are going to be against Kansas State and Utah. So according to Jack Carlo, we're going to beat Kansas State. Kansas State is going to turn around and beat Arizona, but Arizona is going to beat us. That's quite interesting. What is it about Kansas State and how they're going to play Arizona? They're going to beat Arizona, but we're going to take an L to Arizona, but we're going to beat Kansas State. Those are the narratives that I like to draw. I like to think about who's on their O-line, who's on their D-line. I know hands down their quarterback's not better than our quarterback. In this whole conference, I don't care who quarterback it is. We got the best quarterback in this conference, so I don't care who it is. All right, guys, so we're moving right along to our next team. That's going to be the Utah Utes. I'm always afraid of this team. The Utah Utes, their projected record according to Jack Carlo, whoa, they are 12-0. All right, so I think this might be a mistake here. He's supposed to put Big 12 here, but he put Pac-12. They're going to be 9-0 in the Big 12, and their record in the Pac-12, that was last year, they were 5-4 in the Pac-12. Most notable games are going to be at Utah State, at Colorado. They're obviously going to be all these teams, versus Arizona. Projected wins are going to be everyone. All right, Southern Illinois, Baylor, Utah State, Arizona State, Colorado. They're going to beat us again. I think so too. Houston, Oklahoma State, UCF, Arizona, BYU, TCU. Okay, so if they go 12-0, then they're going to make that playoff. Oklahoma State Cowboys. Projected record is going to be 10-2, 7-2 in the Big 12. Their record in 2023 was 10-4. It was 7-2 in the Big 12 last year as well. Most notable games are going to be versus Arkansas, at Colorado, at Kansas State. Projected wins are going to be South Dakota State, Arkansas, Tulsa, Baylor, BYU, Arizona State, Texas Tech, West Virginia, TCU, Kansas State, and their projected losses are going to be Utah and Colorado. That's interesting. That is quite interesting. Okay, so Jack Harlow thinks we're going to beat Oklahoma State. We're going to beat the Cowboys. Or maybe the Cowboys, like they do every year, they beat themselves. All right, guys, and finally we got Colorado Buffaloes. The Colorado Buffaloes projected record is going to be 10-2 according to Jack Carlo. They're going to be 7-2 in the Big 12. Obviously, our record in 2023 was 4-8. We were 1-8 in the Pac-12. We only won one game in the Pac-12. Our most notable games are going to be against Nebraska versus Oklahoma State versus Utah. Projected wins: North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, Baylor, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Cincinnati, Kansas, Texas Tech, and UCF. Projected losses are going to be against Arizona and Utah. We're going to go 10-2. I'm thinking we're going to be 8-4 this year. That's going to be my prediction. I won't put Arizona on the losses column. I would say Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Kansas State. Those are going to be the 4 teams that I think that we're going to lose by. So guys, I like doing these type of videos because I feel like it gives us a lot of insight. It gives us insight into the teams that we're going to be facing in the Big 12, the teams that are going to be in our way, the teams that we might meet in the Big 12 championship. We need to understand the competition. What are we going to be facing? Are the coaches elite? That's why I did the coaches video, the coach prime versus the Big 12 coaches. Or the quarterbacks more elite? Way too many interceptions. I mean, they're not bad, but I would say we got the better quarterback in the conference. And then obviously the linebackers. Is that the block bully? That's that African dude looking swole like that? My goodness. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. That block bully's about to be a bully for real. Wait a minute. Let's go back to the block bully. This is block bully right here with the gold hair. Is that block bully right there? The Nigerian nightmare right there? Look at that dude's thighs. My goodness. Dang, bruh. Yo, block bully is not a joke, homie. Anyways, these are obviously record predictions. This ain't saying this is how it's going to be, but these are writers, guys. These are guys with research capabilities. These are guys that have followed these teams, that know the teams well. So I trust what they say, and they're not always going to get it right, but it be close. We're going to be adding BJ Green in this locker room real soon. Man, I hope he stays because we did lose DJ Lundy. I really hope these guys don't change their minds and we can get some of these linebackers in here so that we can stop the run, because you know there was a problem last year. Guys, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know what you think about the records. Do you think their record was pretty accurate? Do you think Jack Carlo did a good job of predicting the records that he think that it may be? Do you think Colorado would be 10-2 or it's going to be a lot less? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going to leave it right there. Okay?